into half the battle. So, 80s toy movies.
Some were good, some were bad, and some, existed. So we're gonna rank 5 of them.
But it won't be a traditional ranking. I'm gonna give you the 3 worst and the 2 best ones.
Now, I know the title of this video says toy movies, but what I really meant was movies about action figures.
Though that doesn't make for a good title.
That means that sadly, the movie Clue isn't on the list. If it were, I can assure you it would have been the number 1 best one. It was absolutely delightful.
So I'll give it an honorable mention here.
Clue, funny, clever, and great. Also, I'm only ranking movies that I've seen. That means no My Little Pony movie or Brave Star the movie, which I didn't even know existed until I did research for this video. But let's face it, none of you remembered Brave Star the movie existed either.
Yes, except you, one dude who's going to the comment section right now to say you've seen it 100 times. Good for you!
I'll also give a dishonorable mention to the Garbage Pail Kids movie. That's both not about action figures and one I haven't seen. But by all accounts, it would otherwise be the number 1 worst 80s toy movie of all time. And this is still a G.I. Joe channel, so yes, that movie will be making an appearance.
Will I be kind to it? Was Vlad the Impaler kind to his enemies? The hint's in his name.
With that depressingly long list of qualifying statements out of the way, let's start the rankings. 3rd worst, Masters of the Universe. This is the only live-action movie on the list, because most of the others had the good sense to remain cartoons. On paper, things look good. Dolph Lundgren looks like He-Man, and Frank Langella was clearly having a blast playing Skeletor. The only way they could screw this up is if they changed the entire premise of the previous material.
Police! Nobody move!
Of Earth.
Oh, for God's sake!
Yeah, most of this movie was set on Earth. Some say this was done because of the budget, that they didn't have enough money to have the whole movie on Eternia.
I'm calling bullcrap on that.
If you take a look at other sci-fi and fantasy movies of that year, it had a bigger budget than Predator. It had a bigger budget than The Princess Bride and RoboCop. It had the same budget as friggin' Spaceballs. Just to show I'm not cherry-picking, I'll throw in that its budget was $5 million less than The Running Man.
Apropos of nothing, damn, 1987 was a great year for movies.
Anyway, the real reason is they thought people wouldn't relate to the movie if it wasn't set on Earth. Like Star Wars never happened or something. And that was the movie's biggest failure. That, and they somehow found an even more annoying character to replace Orko, if you can believe that. 2nd worst, Gobots, Battle of the Rock Lords. Gobots, aka those toys your grandma bought you because you didn't explain properly what Transformers were.
Yes, I know, cheap shots. Everybody calls the Gobots the not the Transformers line.
To tell you the truth, I did enjoy the cartoon series, but wasn't a big fan of the toys. Mostly because they were hard to find here, and the ones we did get were called Machine Robo or Robo Machines.
Still, my mint-on-card Robo Machine scooter will always have a special place in my collection.
Anyway, much like the other toy lines, the Gobots got a movie. And hey, that could be cool! Guardians vs. Renegades with the fate of the universe hanging in the balance. The only way they could screw this up is if they changed the entire premise of the previous material.
Oh, for God's sake!
They introduced robots that transform into rocks.
Rocks!
It's right there in the title, so I don't know what I was expecting. I doubt Rock Lords meant the Gobots would meet the Rolling Stones, though I guess they kinda did. Now, don't get me wrong, the toys were sorta neat in a novelty kind of way. But come on, a movie with robots turning into rocks, that was doomed from the get-go.
Let's switch gears now and talk about a good movie.
2nd best 80s toy movie, Transformers the Movie. Transformers on the big screen. How could that not be awesome? The only way they could screw this up is if they changed the entire premise of the previous material.
It is the year 2005.
Oh, for God's sake! dear Lord, no!
Yeah, so they made a time jump to the far future of, 2005, and they killed off most of the cast from the TV series. And yet, despite committing the same sins our previous movies have, it's still a good film. There's lots of memorable moments people still know to this day.
For example?
Coronation Starscream. This is bad comedy.
Megatron? Is that you?
And of course, Ba Weep Gra Na Weep Ninny Bong.
Ba weep grana weep ninnybog.
Meanwhile, can you remember a single thing from the Gobots movie except the rocks? Yeah, didn't think so.
Yes, except you, one dude who's going to the comments right now to say he's seen it 100 times. Good for you!
The Transformers movie was memorable and had some great character moments and some good writing. It worked while other movies didn't. Also, none of the characters transformed into rocks.
And now, here's the worst 80s toy movie. I'm sure you'll all be shocked by my choice.
G.I. Joe the movie.
Yes, I know, Timmer is bitching about the G.I. Joe movie again, blah blah blah.
I'm sorry, but this movie just didn't live up to my expectations, to say the least.
Look, if you liked it, that's great, more power to ya, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Anyway, the movie. G.I. Joe vs. Cobra in their final showdown. It should be great. The only way they could screw this up is if they...
Yeah, you know where this is going.
A brilliant young nobleman. Even though disfigured by a laboratory accident, he was my choice to go into the world.
Cobra Commander is a mutant from an ancient Himalayan race. God damn it, the ridiculousness of Cobra law. Turning Cobra Commander into a snake and not having the balls to kill off Duke are just some of the problems this movie had.
To say nothing of...
Cobra la 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 la.
But you know what? I've already done more than one video on this movie, and I don't want to end this one on a downer, so...
The best 80s toy movie is the Care Bears movie.
No, I'm not kidding!
And yeah, smartass who's heading to the comment section, Care Bears had action figures, so this counts.
Okay, hear me out. What did all the movies we saw do that this one didn't? Oh, for God's sake!
They all radically altered or retconned what had come before. Whether it was to draw in more audience, like He-Man, or to sell new toys, like, all of them. And Care Bears didn't. There's a good reason for that. This movie had an advantage over the others. G.I. Joe, Gobots, and the rest all had movies that came out after the original cartoon series had been established. The Care Bears movie came out before there was a regular cartoon series. Sure, there had been 2 TV specials, but there really wasn't any continuity to screw up. And it had a heartwarming, inoffensive story, like half the cast didn't get slaughtered in the first 15 minutes.
Okay, now I kinda wanna see that, but still...
Care Bears didn't try to reinvent the wheel and should be praised for that.
Now, I'm not saying that movies shouldn't change anything and just be feature-length episodes of the shows they're based on.
Introducing new characters is fine, mandatory even considering they're always trying to sell new toys. Come to think of it, that means we can blame Gobots on whatever coked-up exec thought transforming rocks were a good toy idea. By the way, this excuse doesn't work for G.I. Joe, as the Cobra La toys were created after the movie concept was greenlit. So yeah, the G.I. Joe movie was a total unforced error on Hasbro's part. So, to sum up, a worst movie G.I. Joe, best movie Care Bears.
I look forward to your comments below, where I'm sure I'll see nothing but total agreement. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody, and hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing.
And send a wish out through the air. Just do that Care Bears countdown. Just when you need 'em, they'll be there.
I'll be back.